Well, good morning. Yes, again, 5:55. Life force energy transforms. The mark of the beast becomes the avatar. We are the avatar. It's our responsibility to use our life force energy to transform our lives and our world. The title for today's video, which is actually for the 10th of June, which was my brother's birthday, the one that was killed in Colombia back in the 94 maybe. I don't remember exactly when. It was way back in the middle of the 90s. Anyway, the title is They, quote, are still marketing war. Who is responsible? Who in their right mind wants war and violence? Only insane people. That's the logical conclusion in Josie the Outlaw's latest video, The End of Oppression, Part 1, The Problem. And I have the link to that. I shared that on my Facebook wall and my Facebook fan page. And I put the link to the fan page. I have 5,000 friends on Facebook and a waiting list on my main page. The fan page, I don't even think has 800 yet. I don't know. I could look at it, but it's not very many. And I've had that really ever since I reached the 5,000 mark. So people aren't going to my fan page and liking it. Why not? Everything that I post on one, I post on the other. Anyway, back to the blurb. Then I shared, quote, interesting that this was the next video YouTube sent me from those channels I subscribed to, right after Josie the Outlaw's newest video. Here they have Jackie Evancho on her newest release, inadvertently supporting the insanity of war itself, memorializing those who followed criminal orders to kill on behalf of the psychopathic element in human society that feels it has some inherent right to control and dominate others. They are not heroes at all. They are unwitting slaves to an insane system we call government authority. Government has no real authority, only the delusion thereof. Those who call for violence and murder, other than in self-defense against criminals who want to hurt others, are themselves criminals and murderers. It is this that we must heal in ourselves. And I put the link to Jackie Evancho's Memorial Day celebration at the Arlington National Cemetery, where they honor those that have given their lives for freedom, is the line. But no, they have given their lives for insanity, because war is insanity. Or as General Smedley, Butler, or whatever his name was, said, war is a racket. But we live in a violent society. Is human nature naturally violent? Josie the Outlaw went around questioning people. I don't know how many she questioned. She just shows some of them in their video. Would you kill someone if you were ordered to do so? Well, police do that. Soldiers do that all the time. And what are the wars about? The wars are about people wanting to use war to fatten their wallets and increase their control and dominance over others. Now, why would somebody do that? Well, only because they don't know who the heck they are. The only reason we're insane is because we forgot who we are. When we remember who we are, all of a sudden, there's a transformation inside that takes place. And when that transformation takes place, we can no longer unthinkingly and unwittingly just follow orders because some authority said so. Who is the authority in your life? Who's the one that you're supposed to get your instructions from? Is it an outside authority? Is it the government? Is it your church? Is it the Bible or the Quran? Is it some corporation that has corporate rules and you have to follow those rules? Who is your authority? Who's in charge of your life? Who's responsible for your life? Is some something outside of you responsible, or are you responsible for your own choices, your own decisions, and even your own perceptions? Who's responsible? That's the real question. Yes, they are still marketing war. The corporations, the banks, the governments, even the churches, even the religions still push war, still push violence, still push the attitude of I'm right and they're wrong. And I have a right because they're standing in the way of what I want to accomplish, and so I have the right to harm them because I'm not free enough within myself. I don't have enough self-awareness to realize that when I'm hurting them, I'm hurting me. And so the insanity continues. How long are we going to allow the insanity to continue? When are we going to finally start taking responsibility for it? I do believe with all my heart, and as I was meditating on this before I began, I realized that it is my responsibility to take control of my life. And when I say control, I know that's what I want to think. That's what the ego wants to think. Take control of your life, Ron. But it's wrong. No. It's not take control of my life. It's take responsibility for which voices I choose to listen to in my life. Where is the authority coming from? Is it coming from the part of me that's afraid? Or is it coming from the part of me that loves? The part of me that trusts? The part of me that wants to heal and become whole and wants to help and wants to cooperate and not compete, not block off, not separate from, but embrace, because in embracing me and all that's in me, and believe it or not, everything is in me, everything, and it's in you too. Did you know that? We are perfect microcosms of the macrocosm, and everything that we see out there is in here. We can't see it out there if it's not in here because we don't have a point of reference. We can only recognize what is familiar at some level of our being. That means it's part of us. That means somewhere, even if it's the subconscious, somewhere there's a resonance with that. Somewhere there's an identification with that. And that's true of violence. That's true of war. And it becomes, the problem becomes not the violence and not the war, but the ignorance of the reality that we are microcosms of the macrocosm, that we live in a holographic universe, that each part is contains the entire picture of the whole thing. Did you ever think that we are responsible for what our governments do? That we are responsible for what the banks do? That we are responsible for what the corporations do? That we are responsible for what all of the institutions that have been set up supposedly to help us and to serve us. But because we didn't know who us were, because we didn't know who we are, we've given up our power and we've given our responsibility to someone else, and they become the authority. And giving anyone else your authority over your own life is total nonsense. It's insanity. It's psychopathy. It's sociopathy. All of the problems that we have in human society are because we, the people, have not taken responsibility for our own lives. We, the people, have failed to recognize that the ones that are catching our attention are doing us a favor, because they are showing us the part of ourselves that we don't think is part of us, the part of ourselves that wants to heal, the part of ourselves that is wounded. I posted a thing on Facebook today that my friend Glenn posted, and I shared his post, and it actually came from Right-Wing News Photo, and it shows a picture of the Capitol building, and it said, Washington, D.C. will never solve America's problems. Washington, D.C. is America's problem. Yeah, it is. Governments, the way we have allowed them to run, are the problem. But who is responsible for the problem? I put down in my blurb, so true. Actually, we need to add City of London, the Crown, and the Vatican. These, along with DC, are the beast, the Antichrist, and the false prophet. And I purposely misspelled prophet, P-R-O-F-I-T, because as long as everything depends on profit, on making a profit, rather than what is best for humanity, what is actually best for our future, what is actually sustainable, as long as it's only about profit, it's going to lead us to destruction. And the elders, the Native American elders, somebody, Nancy, my friend Nancy, posted on my wall yesterday about messages from Native American elders. 2 short videos. They're on my wall, my main wall. Sorry if you, I don't think they're I didn't share them on my page, my so-called fan page. But anyway, lots of wisdom. They said if we don't make a new decision, if we don't start moving in the realms of a new paradigm, we're going to destroy ourselves. And the earth is not merciful. It will not save us. God will not save us. Great Spirit will not save us if we're stupid enough to keep doing what we've always done and expecting something different to happen. We've always gotten war for a simple reason, that we're at war with ourselves, in ourselves. We're at war with part of ourselves that we don't want to acknowledge. So that part of ourselves that we don't want to acknowledge has become our authority. It's in the driver's seat, and it's driving us from our unconsciousness. It's driving us from the part of ourselves that we're not willing to love, that we're not willing to embrace. When are we going to get it? When are we going to get it? When are we going to stop hiding from ourselves? Stop hiding from the shadow part of ourselves, the dark part of ourselves, and we just come out and be open and honest and tell the truth and let the skeletons out of the closet to face the light. And then you know what? The skeletons become fleshed upon. They become living entities like the valley of dry bones the prophet Ezekiel saw. Bone to bone to bone to bone to bone. And they became an army. Army what? To kill? An army to heal. What's the purpose of an army? What's the purpose of arming ourselves? If we arm ourselves with truth, we will love. If we arm ourselves with truth, we will become liberated. But if we continue to arm ourselves with lies, if we continue to arm ourselves with ignorance and with shame and with guilt and with all these things that have been produced in our society that alienates us from our own being, if we continue to do that, we're going to continue to experience more pain. I'm sorry to tell you that, but it's the truth. Only when we are able and willing, the key is willing, because we are able if we are willing to embrace all of our life, everything that's in our life, everything, and quit saying, well, that's not about me. Can you see it? Can you feel something about it? Is there an emotional reaction to that which you think is not part of you? If there is, I'm going to tell you, it's part of you. You wouldn't react to it if it wasn't part of you. And it is trying to get your attention to look inside of you and to heal what's in you. The world is the way that it is because we, the 99%, have not taken responsibility for our life and for our world. We think it's somebody else's job. Well, if it's not your job, whose job is it? If you're not going to play your part, what makes you think somebody else is going to play your part for you? That's giving up your responsibility. That's making somebody else the authority in your life. And as long as we keep doing that, we'll keep getting what we've always gotten. Is this what we want? Who in their right mind wants war and violence? But we're not in our right mind. If we were in our right mind, we'd recognize the insanity of the whole world. We'd recognize the insanity that's in us. We are the ones in the asylum. We are the ones that have allowed ourselves to become prisoners of an authority that is a sham, is a fraud, is not even real. We have been deluded, but we have deluded ourselves by thinking that something, anything, anyone could be separate from us, and that somehow we were isolated from that, from them, from whatever situation or whatever issue comes up that we don't like and we don't think it's us and we refuse to take responsibility for it. We beat around the bush and we don't get to the fact. I mean, I'm going to share more in a future video about something else that came up in my meditation. I got to put it down so I remember the topic. And sometimes I get these flashes of insight, and then if I don't write it down, I forget about it. But there is something that I want to share about a really, it'll seem insane when I start sharing it, but I realize how much I've been a prisoner because of certain beliefs. We all have. Are you willing to start examining you? Are you willing to start looking at you as being the problem? When we do that, then we can do the Ho'oponopono. And we can take all of what we see out there inside, and we can say, I love you, and I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. We have the attitude of love and compassion for ourselves, and the attitude of repentance. Hey, I got it wrong. I got it wrong. And I'm willing to forgive me. When I say, please forgive me, it's not somebody else that I need to forgive me. I need to take responsibility for my own forgiveness. I need to do that for me. And I need to be grateful to myself for allowing myself to be willing to see the truth that will set me free. And to stop hiding and believing that I'm defective and believing that I can do anything wrong and not get it right. For believing that I don't know how to love and that nobody loves me and that whatever. Believing all sorts of lies, that I'm unlovable. I am not unlovable. I am a lover. And I have a relationship with a divine lover, and that divine lover is me. And I'm responsible for loving me. And then I choose to share my love with those that choose to share their love with me, that are close enough at hand to do so. And those that aren't, I share my love in a different way. It's a long-distance love, but we're still one. Anyway, these are the thoughts that I have this morning to share with you, and I thank you again, as always, for listening. And namaste, in Lakesh, Alkin. We're all one. We're family. Thank you.